Good morning everyone and welcome back to the channel. In today's video I will explain in a clear and detailed way how real estate taxation works in Italy. My name is Francesco Mele, I am a real estate agent in Sardinia island with over 20 years of experience in the international market. If you are a foreign investor or an international buyer interested in purchasing property in Sardinia, it is extremely important to understand which taxes apply when you buy a property and which taxes you will pay every year. We will analyze everything step by step. First, we will discuss purchase taxes. Then, we will look at annual property taxes. Finally, we will explain taxation on rental income and property resale. So, let's start with the part regarding the taxes to pay when buying property in Italy. When purchasing property in Italy, the taxes mainly depend on two factors: the type of seller and whether the property will be your primary residence or a second home. The seller can be a private individual or a construction company developer. Let's examine both scenarios. If you buy a property from a private seller, you will mainly pay three taxes. The main tax is the registration tax. The minor taxes are the cadastral tax and mortgage tax. For a primary residence, the rate is 2% of the cadastral value of the property, with a minimum of 1,000 euros. For a second home, the rate increases to 9% of the cadastral value. One important aspect of the Italian system is that this tax is calculated on the cadastral value rather than the purchase price. The cadastral value is usually significantly lower than the market price. The other two taxes, cadastral tax and mortgage tax, are normally fixed at 50 euros each. Let's talk now about the purchase from a developer. If you purchase a property directly from a construction company, the taxation changes because VAT applies. In this case, the main taxes are VAT, registration tax, mortgage tax, and cadastral tax in a fixed way of 200 euro each. VAT rates are 4% for primary residence, 10% for second homes, 22% for luxury properties. Now we are going to talk about the annual property taxes. After purchasing a property in Italy, there are some annual taxes to consider. The most important one is IMU, or ownership tax. IMU, municipal property tax. This is the main annual property tax in Italy. This tax is not due on your primary residence if the property is used as your main home. However, IMU must be paid on second homes, holiday homes, investment properties, rented properties. The tax is calculated based on the revalued cadastral value of the property. The rate varies depending on the municipality, but typically ranges between 0.75% and 1.06%. The payment is usually made in two installments, one in June and one in December. Another annual tax is Tari, which covers municipal waste collection services. The amount depends on the size of the property and the number of occupants. This tax is paid by whoever occupies the property, either the owner or the tenant. Another common question is about the taxation on the rental income. If you rent out your property, two tax regimes are available. The first is the standard income tax regime. Under this system, rental income is added to your personal income and taxed according to progressive Italian income tax rates, which can reach up to 43%. The second option is called cedolare secca, a flat tax regime widely used by property investors. Under this system, the tax rate is 21% for standard rental contracts, 10% for regulated rental agreements. With cedolare secca, you are exempt from registration tax and stamp duties on the rental contract. Another aspect to consider is the taxation on a short-term and tourist rentals. Many foreign investors rent properties through short-term rental platforms. In this case, rental income is also taxable. If the activity is considered non-commercial, the 21% flat tax usually applies. Let's talk now about the taxes to pay when you sell your property. When you sell a property in Italy, capital gains tax may apply. The capital gain is the difference between the purchase price and the selling price. This tax only applies if the property is sold within 5 years of purchase. The tax rate is generally 26% on the capital gain. However, there are important exemptions. I will talk about those exemptions in one of my next video. To summarize, when purchasing property in Italy, there are three main categories of taxes to consider: purchase taxes, annual property taxes, and taxes on rental income or resale. For foreign investors, it is very important to plan the tax structure correctly before buying. Proper planning can significantly reduce taxation and prevent bureaucratic complications. If you are considering buying property in Italy, it is always advisable to consult a notary or a qualified tax advisor specialized in the Italian real estate market. You like this video and would like to see more? Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching this video.